Hey, welcome back to the podcast, the Evil Dungeon Master Universe AD&D podcast. I am your host, Evil Dungeon Master Vince. Hopefully you're doing well out there. Today is Friday. It's time for a new AD&D podcast for today. TheEvilDM.com is my website, and Ask the DM at TheEvilDM.com is my email address. You can support me by going to patreon.com/theevildm. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/theevildm, and my backup channel, rumble.com/theevildm, if you want to check out videos about AD&D and other wonderful stuff. Before we get into our topic today, I got a message from someone on Substack named Saint Lazar, and he proposed a new D&D setting with his co-writer Jennifer Gorey. It is called Dwayne Hollow. If you're interested in checking that out, it is an interesting setting that has three different time periods you could start in, starting in 1558, 1758, and it looks like the near future. It is an interesting setting, has dark origins in it. It is part of a chronology. Wow, I can't speak this morning. And this campaign will immerse the players in an atmosphere of historical dark fantasy, which mixes horror and mystery. If you're interested in that, go ahead and take a look at the link I'm going to leave in the show notes on the evildm.com website when you see this post, and check it out. Other than that, let's get on to today's topic. Today, we're going to be talking about a really, I want to say, loathsome, nightmarish creature today. Yeah, we're going dipping back into the monster book today. We're going to talk a little bit about an unknown, unused monster called the Catoblepas. Now, I think I'm pronouncing that right because the name is partially Greek in origin, which literally means look downwards. Cato, downwards, Bleepo, to look. So the name is fitting in mythology in the AD&D Monster Manual. The creature's head is so heavy that it hangs low to the ground. The danger comes when it lifts its head just enough to meet your eyes, because that's when it gives the death gaze, and that's when it takes effect. This version that Gygax included in the AD&D draws from the Pliny the Elder description in the Natural History, where its sluggish, swamp-dwelling beast feared for its lethal stare and poisonous breath. This makes it one of those rare monsters with direct roots in classic mythology, not just something made up for AD&D, which is why it's probably perfect for this spotlight for monsters. So, looking at the creature itself, it's very rare, appearing 1 to 3, armor class of 7, movement of 6, hit dice is a 6 plus 2, 60% chance you're going to run into it in its lair. Treasure is a C, number of attacks 1, damage is 1d6 plus stun, special attack, gaze causes death. Magic resistance is standard, it is semi-intelligent, interesting. It is neutrally aligned. It is considered a large creature standing at 6 feet shoulder height. This nightmare creature is loathsome beyond description and has no redeeming features. Its body resembles that of a huge bloated buffalo and gives it an offensive odor. The neck is long and thin and perched atop a big. Long and thin and perched atop is a big head uglier than that of a warthog. Its legs are thick and stumpy, much like a hippopotamus. The creature is tall and strong and sneaky, however, and moves with an amazing swiftness to strike enemies. Any creature that has, a base of 75% chance of being stunned 1 to 10 melee rounds. The base chance of being modified just downward by 5% for every level or hit die of monster above 1. Thus, if an 11th level character is struck by the tail, there is only a 25% chance of being stunned. So the gaze is equal to death ray, extending 6 inches from the eyes, even into the astral and ethereal planes. Any creature which meets this gaze without any chance any creature which meets this gaze dies without any chance to save itself. Complete surprise on a 2 and 6-sided dice. meaning one of the party members encountering this monster has met its gaze. Otherwise, the very weak neck of the creature has only a 25% chance of raising its head high enough to use its eyes. If both parties are still if both parties are still, this chance increases 15% per melee round. If the monster must follow quick movements or if it is shambling along in pursuit of a prey, there's only a 10% of melee chance per round that the neck is raising its head sufficiently high enough to fix its gaze. A fleeing victim, even with his eyes averted, is subjective to the deadly effects of its eyes, although there is a saving throw involved. So, if you run into this creature and meet its gaze on a surprise round, well, pretty much are dead. So, this creature surprises you, you're dead. There's nothing about it here. There's chances that he probably won't raise his head. The DM has to roll. So if you're encountering this creature, sorry, your character is going to be dead. It's a pretty nasty little nightmarish creature, and I was thinking of ways to possibly use this in the campaign. Now, one of the ways was a swamp idol. A local cult worships this as a god. They bring it sacrifices in exchange for quote unquote protection from other monsters. And of course, the player characters arrive in town just before the next offering. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen there. So I find it interesting that a cult would do this. They would worship this creature and not look at this creature, of course, because it doesn't raise its head. And the creature is just like, you know what? You're feeding me these things. I'm going to take it. You can worship me. It's semi intelligent. It knows what this is, it knows what it's getting itself into. So I think it's perfectly fine, in my opinion. I would definitely use that as a campaign, like side adventure or something. This player characters stumble into this little swampy village along the way in their path. Again, if you're using this creature, you're pretty much looking to give your party a death, or the entire party a death, or you're looking to, challenge them a little bit. So another interesting way I was thinking about how we can use this creature is, again, there is a village or a cult or whatever that worships this creature, and they erected this statue in its honor, and they used what are they, nice, finely crafted or whatever gems for eyes. They leave the statue as a tribute in the middle of the swampy area. The party, unbeknowing, stumbles into this statue, not knowing what it is, and sees the gems. Chances are they're probably going to want to take these gems because they're very valuable, pricey. Now, there'll probably be some little debate amongst some of the players of, should we bother touching this? It's probably cursed, things like that. They'll do their usual magic detections on it, or detect curse, or whatever else they want to do. Examine it for traps and see none of those things, and probably take these gems because they easily can be removed. Once taking the gems, what happens? They actually anger the real one that lives nearby, the one that actually goes by all the time and admires its own statue, its own tribute in the middle of the swamp. So the player characters steal the eyes, and now the real one starts hunting them inside the swamp area and tracks them down to get back what belongs to him. I think that's pretty interesting. What do you guys think out there? Comment below. And then you can go with some, like, a little bit of traditional type thing. There is a noble in the town, and the creature is harassing the town. Maybe every once in a while will come in and put its gaze onto something to grab a quick meal and leave. Everybody's afraid because once it lifts its head, obviously they know the gaze will kill them, or at least they think so. So the royal in town decides to hire the party to take care of this thing and kill it, so that the village will, successfully live and move on to live another day. Kind of your traditional setup of, here's the monster, please help our village, and you are heroes, so you will do it. Of course, we will give you gold or whatever, women or whatever we have as a reward, so don't worry about it. It's a couple ways you could use it in your campaign, and it's an interesting creature that I've probably just kind of passed over and not used based just kind of on the picture. And they say the picture kind of sells the creature, and this picture didn't really inspire me a lot when looking at it. I'm sure I've looked at it and maybe used it. I don't recall using it, but reading it now and wanting to use this creature, I could figure out lots of ways to use this creature. And its death gaze is probably the best feature out there. As an evil DM, I like the evil gaze. Yes, it's the evil gaze. I like the gaze on a complete surprise, which means that somebody encountering the monster has met its gaze and death. And obviously, you can change how that works as a dungeon master if you don't want to be that harsh. If you don't want your party surprised in death on surprise, you can remove that completely and just play the monster out as as if he raises his head, he's going to look up, and boom. Your players would probably know this. There's quite a few players that read your books back to back, cover to cover, which is fucking annoying in my opinion. But what are you going to do? Characters will not know what this creature is unless somehow you tip them off through suggestions or not suggestions, rumors in town, or maybe signs of maybe bodies laying around in the area, and they can kind of figure it out going from there. But no, and any player that's like, "Oh my god, it's this creature and this is what he can do," you instantly tell them that their character does not know that and separate that knowledge. And I find that quite a few players, unless they're veterans and not dicks, understand the whole separation of metagaming and player knowledge versus character knowledge, and wouldn't know to revert their eyes. So it really depends on how you want to play it in your game. You could dumb down some of the things if you don't think it's fair. Giving people a saving throw if you want, because even fleeing victims get a saving throw, even though they're not looking directly at this creature. So I guess it's the effect of the his eyes just shooting the beams out. I don't know. Maybe he shoots out beams out of his ass. I have no idea. But tell me what you think about this creature in the comments and how you would use it in your campaign, if you would change it. I don't know if this creature made it forward to any other editions. I would assume second edition probably had this creature in it. I don't recall it in third edition, though. I know I have some people who play Pathfinder and 3E games listen to the podcast and on my channel, so they can chime in on the comments, and I appreciate you doing that because I like to learn along the way as well about things that I'm not too sure about, and y'all help me out with that, so I appreciate it. Alrighty, I'm gonna head out. Hope you have a great weekend, and hopefully you have a game this weekend. If you don't, hopefully you have some gaming planned, as far as maybe sitting down with a book or two and writing out a module, or a maze or a dungeon, or just creating something inside your dungeon master book that makes you smile. With that said, I'm going to head out. So keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, and God bless everybody.